Good morning, everybody. This is Alex Eicher with the TCTITLEGUY Podcast. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous day today. This is our third episode overlooking the water. This location is not East Bay like it was last week with Kelly Clark. This location is West Bay. We are here at Centerpoint building in Graylickville. This venue on the fourth floor is a wedding venue overlooking West Bay. Beautiful backdrop over here. I'll put the video up here on the screen on what that looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous up here, especially on a beautiful day like this. It's always beautiful up here. But when it's sunny out and you get beautiful weather like this in northern Michigan, you really, people say, you guys are really lucky up here, and we are. We are very lucky to live in a beautiful place and be able to make good money and do what we love to do up here. So with that being said, I'm here with a newer client today. Bethany Warner Law is not a newer client to us, but Erin Sika is. She's done several deals with us, and one recently we just closed with her. I feel like it went pretty good. And so Erin and I met through an organization, as I meet a lot of other people and through organizations. This one was Women's Council of Realtors. We'll dive into that a little bit today. We'll dive into who Erin is and what she likes to do and what she does in the real estate industry. And so thank you for allowing us to be able to utilize this space up here. And a shout out to Corbin, her husband. His family owns this venue building.
Yeah, so let me brag about why we're in this beautiful space this morning. My name is, again, Erin Sika, and my husband, Corwin.
Excuse me, Sika.
Everyone gets it, especially now that I've got Erin Sika. I get Erica, I get Erin. It happens to the best of us, but the perk of being in a small town is if you say that name, someone will probably figure out who you're talking about. So, like say, oh, Alex, that title guy. That'll get you a response in Traverse City.
Yeah.
In a bigger city, I don't know if that would happen.
Yeah.
So my husband's family has run a wedding venue out of the Traverse City area for years and years. And one of them is here at Visions and also Greystone out in Honor. So they're both beautiful locations. And yeah, one of the perks of living here is all the land and water. So
what people would think would be, they would look at this venue and they would say, "Oh man, this place is cool. That's a cool podcast." But I don't really care about the podcast. I really care about the wedding venue. How would somebody get in touch with somebody to reserve this venue?
Yes, direct line would be Robert Sika. So you can go through My TC Weddings and get in touch with Robert Sika. Or you could contact myself and I can get you in touch with them as well. So I know my contact information might be a little more accessible through this process. So we are happy to get you in touch with the right people to do that. And also, smaller events too. A couple weeks ago, they held a corporate party as well. So that's always something I can help with as well.
Before we started today, Erin says, I'm 110%. What did you say?
I said I'm about 70% extrovert, but I think you're at 110.
Yeah, because I was talking to her about how I bought this podcast kit and I said, you could do all this, and her husband's very nice. He rolled the red carpet out for us this morning. Made us delicious pastries and rolled the red carpet out for me. Literally, I'm just joking, but anyway, shout out to you, Corbin. She asked me if we needed like an outlet or anything. I'm like, no, this kit right here, you just literally charge it up. I plugged it in my car on the way here, and it was probably already charged anyways, but I just wanted to make sure we had extra battery and juice because I just leave it in my car in the cold, which I'm sure that's fine. But so she's joking with me because I'm go 110%, which is probably true. But with the way she's talking, she's got to be, she says she's 70%. I would say more like 80. Okay, so shout out to Erin for being on the show today. And, I want to talk, Erin, about what you like to do before we dive into real estate and what you do for business. What would you say? And I don't know. This is all authentic. Erin and I have only met a handful of times, just so you know. I try to keep conversations authentic. What I mean by that is I try not to have. When I met with Sonia Baker the other week, I didn't know her, and she's like, "What do you want to talk about?" I was like, "I don't want to talk to you about anything. I don't want to explain what I want to talk about." Other than, hey, this is like, I just want to get to know you. And the point of that is because it's 100% authentic. Granted, You got to find somebody that's not afraid to be on camera. But with that being said, Erin, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What things keep you guys going when you're not doing real estate business?
Well, it is funny. Just one quick thing about work, and then we'll go back to that.
Okay.
But one of the benefits of joining Women's Council of Realtors, and just in general through work, we do a lot of hearings. So you kind of got to get over the public speaking aspect of it at a certain point. So it's either sink or swim. So typically what I'm doing in the evenings or on the weekends here is playing some volleyball with my friends. We've got a great beach community, and then we transitioned to indoor for this lovely winter we're about to go into.
You play down here at the
So yeah, we play at these
open space
bay courts. Yeah, by
nice.
the open space. And they just put some new nets up there a couple years ago. So it's a great league, and they do some grass leagues too. So Traverse City Parks and Rec and social sports is great to keep the adult community going in that as well. And then we do so much fishing and just being outdoors in this area.
I didn't know you fished.
I fish casually. My husband's the one that can be out there for hours in the cold, and I'm asking when we can go get a snack.
This is what we're going to do. Do you know how many children, do you?
Not yet. You'll have to do a second one with him, and you guys can go fishing.
I got you. So this is what we're going to do. We're gonna take him out here eventually. Me, on my boat, we're going to take you walleye fishing.
We would love that, yes.
Okay. I just took a couple out about a month or two ago. That was one of my last trips. We went to Long Lake, and we did good.
It'll be a little more educational for me, though. I won't be able to talk.
The nice thing about that is you just got to sit there. I take care of it all, literally. Flay up the fish, everything, if we catch him, right? No guarantees. But I didn't know you guys fished.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time. So that's why we picked, what the great thing about Traverse City is any direction you're, heading to some kind of outdoor activity like that. But we live in Lake Ann. So I figured, half an hour to Traverse City, half an hour to the Dunes, Empire, that kind of area. That's a great spot for us.
Do you ever make it down to the brewery down there in Lake Ann?
That's almost the only thing to do out there.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, I like that place.
It's a great spot to stay local. We go there every time my parents are up here. They're out of town.
Gotcha.
So anytime family or friends visit, we're always heading over there.
During the holidays, that town is pretty cool. I remember being there during Christmas a couple years ago, and I just remember it being really lit up. I mean, obviously it's not very big, but I just remember it being really nice and quaint.
They're adding a permanent...
Or maybe I'm imagining something, but I'm pretty sure that was Lake Ann.
They create a special area out there. There's a shared backyard between the restaurant and the brewery, so they're building a permanent pavilion out there right now with restrooms, heat, all that jazz. So it's definitely still growing, which is really good.
Nice. And when it comes to, I guess, a little bit more affordable housing and availability, towards that way is definitely, the option if you want to be within driving distance driving distance is subjective to whoever we're talking about, but I guess I would say within a half hour or so of Traverse City, 45 minutes at the most.
Yeah, I've heard it's so popular. Basically, that radius around Traverse City of 10 to 15 miles out is such a sweet spot right now for young professionals moving to the area too, or trying to stay in the area. Yeah,
and I feel like the industry, depending on what you want to do, there's a lot of opportunities up here to make good money. There really is. Trades, especially. We have a high demand. Excuse me. Especially with the influx of all the new people moving into the area, they have a lot of needs for remodels and new houses and things of that nature. So, if you're looking for an opportunity to make some good money, 6 figures, you could definitely do it up here. You just got to have the willpower to do it. So, Erin, I want to dive into what you do on behalf of a law practice with Bethany Warner. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Bethany runs a great office, and right now we are an all-female firm, so that's a great, happy, positive environment always to be in, not knocking the boys or anything, but it's great to have that support from other women in an industry that doesn't have so many women in the legal practice. So at our office, we do all have our own clients, but we're very collaborative and always able to help out. So if I'm out of the office, my coworker can jump into a file and get something done, for an emergency, or helping each other with resources and things like that. So at our office, we specialize in estate planning, real estate, and business law. There are, of course, like there are different doctors, there are different types of attorneys. So there are people that are good at, criminal and personal injury, and then estate planning and real estate. I like to think of those as some isolated worlds that don't get as much crossover. So for me, primarily, I focus in estate planning and real estate. I like to think they're kind of like puzzles to put together for people. There's so many pieces that need to fit together to get to the right end result, and that works well in my brain.
So why Erin would be joining Women's Council is because she is trying to connect with realtors to have referral business. On the other end, I don't know if you've had the opportunity or if people have reached out to you yet, but if you are a realtor, you may want to reach out to Erin too.
We've had some fun deals actually so far. I've been able to reach out and ask for Alex's help in getting some things done, and he helped us with a smooth closing.
I don't know all the answers. Okay, I've got her in touch with the people that do. Okay,
exactly,
so let
but
me just put that out.
Honestly, it's a good feeling to know. I don't know what's going on right now, but I know I can call the guy who does, and the guy that he'll answer the phone, and he'll get me to the person that knows the answer.
I appreciate that.
So that helped get that deal done smoothly, and that's less money that our clients have to pay an attorney to help them if the person, providing the answers is getting that done. So the other side of it is I did have a realtor reach out to me because with things like principal residence exemptions, so getting a tax benefit for having something listed as your primary home or percentages of ownership, that can matter a lot at closing date, and then people move things around right after. So we worked through kind of a multi-part transaction so that everyone was getting the best tax benefit, but also reporting the right sales price and all of those things. So you need to be creative sometimes, and we can help with that.
So why Talon is good at working with attorneys is because we have Marv Jensen. Marv Jensen used to own Talon. Marv Jensen is now our attorney relations. I'm not familiar, and maybe you can enlighten me. I don't know of any other title companies. I'm not saying that there isn't people out there that do what he does, but he literally exclusively works with the attorneys. Obviously, he does a little bit of examination as well. But I don't know if you can enlighten me on that with maybe other title companies in town or in general that do have people that are specifically employed in that type of position.
Marv is one of the highlights of working with Talon from our perspective, from a legal perspective for sure. Sometimes the people making the decisions aren't available to speak with, or decisions are being made without a reason. And I at least know that Marv will always give us a reason or discuss why he's deciding something. So that's really important, because while the law is black and white in the book, practical application of that isn't always as clear cut. So a lot of properties in Leelanau County especially are held in trust. Okay. And that's something that can create small hiccups that are completely solvable, but they need to be solved in the right way and on the right timeline to not cause an issue on closing day. And that's something that we help coordinate with him.
Okay. Erin, why do you like joining Women's Council? Has it helped your business? Do you feel like it's a good networking group to connect with people? Because I get a lot out of the group. I was just wondering how do you feel about the organization as a whole and what you get out of it?
Yeah, I think I've been a member of Women's Council coming up on a year now, so almost there. About to go to our first holiday party, so I'm excited for that. I've heard good things. Mm-hmm. Everyone in the group is both fun and honest and hardworking and responsive, which is great. One of the benefits of working with a fellow Women's Council member is I know that they'll get the job done, and they'll get it done timely and be in touch and everything and do it well. But also getting out from behind our desk and out from the office from time to time is fun too. So a lot of these people, it's so funny, especially title agents and realtors, I'll say, oh, I've emailed you or I've spoken with you on the phone, but I had never actually met you. So it's good to actually develop, Traverse City is a small town. There's no reason to not be shaking hands with people 15 minutes away.
Shout out to Erin, because as far as I know, and maybe I'm wrong, from a standpoint of being involved, as in like showing up, she is the only attorney that I've seen, unless I'm wrong.
There might be another one registered, but I might be the only one there.
That's and no poo poo on you or maybe more people. But my point is Erin shows up. Okay, showing up and putting a face with a name, or just being out there talking about you as an individual, or what I'm trying to say is I'm speaking to strategic partners of the organization. I'm actually meeting with a gentleman later today. He actually reached out to me because I spoke at the sponsored event we did for the luncheon about a month ago or so, and he said, "Hey man, that was a powerful speech. I want to get to know how you develop drum business with the organization." And my point is the first thing is getting involved.
One of the big benefits for me has been, I say estate planning or real estate law, and that your eyes gloss over. That's just a big category. What does that really mean? So there are people that I've been working with for almost 5 years now, and she'll say, "I didn't know you did landlord-tenant law." And I said, "Girl, that's how I started." Everyone, you start with, those more routine things, and then, handle some bigger cases as you go. But it's kind of funny to say, we've been talking the whole time I've been up here, but you didn't know that I did that aspect of, a primary thing of what I was doing at the time. So a lot of what we do in the real estate world is assisting with transactions, but a lot of boundary disputes and chain of title issues. But then on the estate planning side, it's both preventing problems and getting your estate plan set up in the right way, but also dealing with problems through a conservatorship, guardianship, probate court, if they happen, if things weren't set up in the right way, or if something goes wrong. So it's both. You can talk to us if you don't have a problem and you want to avoid them and help things go smoothly, but we can also help pick up the pieces if things start to fall apart.
Divorce isn't going away. Okay, 50% of divorces don't last, or maybe a little bit more than that in the country, and we don't want that. We don't want those numbers. But regardless, it is what it is. Aligning yourself with the right person, Erin being one of them, with her good referral partners, whether that be a realtor. Case in point, why I think realtors should reach out to Erin. Or attorneys in general that do estate planning and an attorney real estate law, but aligning yourself with the right people to be able to, so she could refer business. And then what my point is if you align yourself with the right person that has good referral partners, it's a well-oiled, smooth-tuned, fine-oiled machine. Because if you don't do that, if you don't align yourself with the right person who has the good referral partners, one little thing goes wrong, and you don't have somebody to, like, she doesn't know the answers, and I don't answer the phone. Let's just say that's one small part of the process. Granted, I don't even remember what it must have been. It made a big impact on your recent transaction, but I didn't think I did that much of a big of a deal. But my point is like, it's so important to work with the right people, because it makes things a lot easier. Okay, and then also you as an individual aligning yourself with the right people too, because who you refer, it makes a big difference from a bad deal compared to a good deal. So,
and it also, I think there's a lot of accountability in it as well, because if I refer to Talon and the closing doesn't happen, I've got to answer to my client for why that's not happening.
And it comes back on you.
So one of the, we love our realtors, but we do assist with private transactions, and that's how I interact with title companies a lot, is if we are, processing a family transaction, doesn't, need to have all of those additional fees all of the time. So it can be a different situation when an attorney is involved instead of a realtor. So getting all of those pieces back into place is helpful.
So what I want to talk about next is a don't wait aspect. And what I mean by that is, Erin, and maybe you can elaborate on this. What do you see in your world that people wait on, and it can prolong the process had they not waited and got this done earlier? You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You deal with this every day. I know you do. I just don't know what that looks like. So if you could elaborate on that.
I deal with that in multiple aspects. I'd say just about every avenue that I was talking about deals with those things. But the biggest one especially given the needs of our community. Is I see a lot of people, as they head into retirement, start thinking about estate planning. Okay, great. You're in your 60s and you've started thinking about estate planning. You reach your 70s and you finally call an attorney. And then you're about 75, getting to 80, and you're coming in to actually get documents done. Because I understand that's a very humbling process. You're dealing with your own mortality. It's not fun to come talk about, but it's something that people put off a lot, and then they're just continuing to, oh, I'll get back with you. I'll think about this information. And then something happens where they lose capacity mentally, or God forbid, they pass away. So now there are decisions that need to be made medically, financially, that there's no one in place to do, and there's no automatic right for a spouse or a child to be making these decisions most of the time.
Good point.
So if you don't have a power of attorney or a patient advocate, you might need to go through a conservatorship or guardianship process.
So what's that threshold age? I don't know, maybe this isn't a good question, but how do you feel, and maybe I don't know if you could say this, but what do you suggest people do, depending on the situation, obviously, but if it's estate planning, if you hit a certain age point, what would that age point be where you should start planning? Or maybe start planning now.
I truly do like to say everyone should have a will, and if you own property, you should have some kind of way that's worked into your estate plan, whether that's a ladybird deed or a trust or something like that. But I know that it sounds, if someone's young and single, they might think, why do I need an estate plan? A lot of people, I really think, should start doing that when they buy their first home or start a family. Okay. Those are the two situations where I think younger people can take control of their futures in that way and make sure that those gaps are filled. And these things can always be updated. So I don't know if people are or aren't aware of that, honestly, because it's so
well, it's not something somebody thinks about, when you're 30 years old and you're in your prime, you just started your career or whatever, and it's a little bit morbid, I'm sorry, but you could drive right down the road and get in a car accident with you and your wife, right? It's that serious.
So you need to have, guardians for your children nominated, your home placed into a trust so that it's taken care of for them, someone's paying the bills right away, all of those things. And when that has to go through court rather than these documents that are already set up, it's really stressful in a time that's already very upsetting, it's expensive, and it can take a little longer. So let's say someone's under contract for a home and they pass away and now their house is in probate. That's going to tie up a lot in your transaction versus a house being owned by a trust. The successor trustee steps in, signs all the paperwork, and distributes the funds according to the trust. So that's where, if that's all set up when you're 30 and you don't use it until you're 60, that's perfectly fine. If you choose a parent as your successor trustee, and then as you go on, you would rather that be your spouse, you can update those documents as long as you are legally competent.
And so what would you say separates your law practice apart, or you as an individual, above all of your competitors locally? Granted, there's enough business to go around, okay? But what would you say, Erin, that you do and what your law practice does?
Personally, what I really like to do is I have a lot of clients that come in and say, I need a trust. And I say, this is the first time we've spoken. How can you know that you need a trust? And sometimes they're coming from a situation where they've dealt with their parents' estate plan, so they really do know what they want, and we don't need to go through all of the options. They know exactly what they're looking for. But sometimes people call the whole package a will or the whole package a trust. So we really need to go through all of the options and see the best way to get them to the end result. I like to say everyone pretty much has the same goal: to get their assets to the right people with minimal taxes, time, and stress. Usually that's avoiding probate, but there are a couple ways to get there. There are trusts, there are ladybird deeds, there are different types of power of attorney and patient advocate that you might want. So there are different ways to get to the same goal, but I want to make sure you have the best plan for you to get there, not just here's a trust because everyone's house should be in a trust or something like that.
Like I said before, Erin's out there a lot. She's involved with the community. She probably does some community, service and things of that nature. Gets involved with organizations. Erin's a go-getter, and she is. That speaks volumes when she gets involved with organizations and gets involved with the community. So with that being said, I think that's another aspect of you, being out there. It's more of a compliment to you, and that's what I do. That's how me and Erin met, is through networking organization. And with that being said, I would highly recommend utilizing, Bethany Warner. We'll highlight all those services real quick, Erin.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that. I did just want to plug real quick. It's a little bittersweet to be in. We won't have this venue anymore, but we'll be at Greystone out in honor. But we always do the polar plunge from here every year. So I don't know where they're doing it next year, but that's been a really fun way to give back to the community. My husband's a chef, so I'm a very lucky lady in that regard, and he does so much of the prep and putting on of those events. So that's always fun, and it's fun to have been up here this morning. Yes. So at our office, we have our number at 231-922-8028. And that will get you to our main office, and you can ask for me, Erin Sika, and we can help with anything from estate planning, real estate, and then my colleagues can help with business law as well. So that means under the estate planning umbrella, that's wills, trusts, power of attorney, patient advocate. If those things aren't in place, sometimes you might need a conservatorship or a guardianship action. If a trust is being administered incorrectly, we can help with those things. So that's where probate litigation happens as well. Or if someone dies without a will and those things need to go through probate, we can help with that. On the real estate side of things, everything from landlord-tenant to boundary line disputes and litigation. There's a lot of sometimes dock issues up here and boundary issues with easements. There are a lot of easements and HOAs up here, so that can create some issues.
Believe it or not, and we specialize in this, if you're buying a dock, it actually does need an examination on title. Just putting that out there.
I'm dealing with one right now.
Yep. This was Alex Eicher with the TC Title Guy Podcast. This is Erin Sika. And shout out to you, Erin, for stepping up and getting on the show. I really appreciate that. Reach out to her. You heard her contact information. Reach out. Don't wait. Get in touch with Erin. Get in touch with an attorney in general, and start planning now, because you never know, right? I'm not trying to be morbid or anything like that, but my point is it's never too late to start a conversation with somebody, whatever that might be. Alex Eicher, TC Title Guy Podcast. Please be sure to like and subscribe below. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Alec.